We cannot consider prison as a safe place, but there are some prisons in the world that are so dangerous that they would make everyone miserable. Prison is a place where inmates are convicted and are punished for their sins. But being so much cruel with them and making their life hell is not fine. As all of the individuals locked in the prisons are not culprits, some are awaiting trial and some are accused for the sin they never committed. I admit that the culprits should be punished for their crimes, but making their life conditions threatening and pathetic is not the way. Here is a list of top 10 most dangerous prisons in the world, where prisoners are beaten brutally, most are dirty, there is no sewerage system, inmates are kept in grievous living conditions and their life is worse than death. Before we have a tendency to begin, why don't you hit the subscribe button? And therefore the bell notification icon, thus you never miss any of our videos. Let's begin. Number 10. San Quentin State Prison, USA. San Quentin State Prison is known as the oldest prison in the California state and was established in 1852. All execution for men must occur at this prison in the state of California. The methods of execution at this prison have changed with time. Formerly the inmates were executed by hanging, and then they were executed in a gas chamber that was deliberated as unusual and cruel punishment, and it led to the execution within the gas chamber by lethal injection. The prison has been home to various notorious prisoners and has been featured on video, film and television. Violence is a consistent issue at the prison even with a large number of guards. This prison is infamous for its poor conditions and it is considered a dangerous place for house people there. Number 9. Lasante Prison, France. Lasante Prison is located in the heart of Paris, a few miles from the Seine River in France. The maximum security facility of this prison makes the people unable to believe that they are in the city of love. The prison was opened in 1867 and possesses a long history of abuse. It is known as a brutal place where many inmates have taken away their own lives while completing their punishment. Due to violence, poor sanitary conditions, improper staff and overcrowding, many inmates fall into deep states of depression, and in 1999, 124 prisoners of the jail committed suicides. The violence in the jail is so extensive that the inmates are out of their cells for just 4 hours in a day. Number 8. Petek Island Prison, Russia. There is no rule of safe prisons in Russia. The Petek Island Prison located on White Lake is a maximum security incarceration center and contains the most noxious criminals of Russia. All prisoners are isolated and spend almost 20 hours a day in solitary imprisonment. Inmates are allowed to visit by visitors just twice in a year, and not even a single inmate has ever escaped from this prison. Because of isolation and decreased basic facilities, many of the prisoners lose their minds before the completion of their punishment. Number 7. Bangkuang Central Prison, Thailand. It is a men's prison located in the Nonthaburi province of Thailand and is renowned as one of the Thailand's toughest prisons. The Bangkuang Central Prison houses various foreign inmates. It is a harsh jail that controls death row and long sentence inmates. All the inmates are forced to wear leg irons for the first 3 months of the punishment, and those on death row wear iron chains welded to their legs. Many prisoners suffer from preventable diseases and malnutrition. There is no running water in the prison, and hardly a functioning draining system. Number 6. La Sabana Prison, Venezuela. La Sabana Prison is a notorious prison that has capacity of almost 15,000 inmates, but it contains approximately 25,000 prisoners. The prison is underfunded, overcrowded and understaffed, and there are increased chances of dying of inmates. It is like a gateway to hell. Many inmates are forced to sleep in corridors, and the corrupted system demands money and power to attain large rooms. There is just one guard for every 150 prisoners, gangs run the prison, rape is a common fear, lawlessness is regular, murder is common, and those out of control are almost near to death. There are numerous violent incidents that have happened in jail, and one of the most distressing is the death of 108 inmates as a consequence of a brutal gun conflict in January 1994. 5. Goldani Prison, Georgia. The horrendous face of this prison came in front of the people when in September 2012 videos were revealed showing the brutal treatment of prisoners by prison guards that included violent sexual assault and rape. These videos made the Georgia shocked, as it has one of the Europe's lowest crime rates because of the zero-tolerance approach of the country. But it also possesses the highest rate of imprisonment in Europe, and as a consequence its prisons are overcrowded and inmates suffer tuberculosis epidemics, brutal inmate treatment, assaults and many more. Inmates were beaten systematically by broom handles and with nightsticks. Because of the emerging video evidence, conditions have improved at this jail. The government seized, charged and imprisoned the guards responsible for the acts on the recordings. Number 4. Diarbakir Prison, Turkey. Diarbakir Prison is a notorious site for repression and torture. This maximum security jail was established in 1980 and since long it has been a site of hell for the Kurdish individuals of the region. It is an imprisoned center for political prisoners and criminals, sometimes overcrowded, and has experiences of massacre that haunts the walls. Inmates are brutally tortured, including severe beating, pulling of hair, being beaten naked, solitary confinement, death threats, rape threats, being bitten by dog, electric shocks, burning with cigarettes and food deprivation for prolonged periods. Many inmates died because of torture and many prisoners have set themselves on fire to protest against the wild acts and to escape the cruelty. Number 3. Kotanu Civil Prison, Benin. Benin is a small country in West Africa and the Kotanu Civil Prison has a capacity of almost 400 individuals, but it holds 2,400 men, women and children. The prison conditions are so miserable that alongside police cruelty, there are routine cases of violence of human rights. Inmates experience overcrowding, cases of unjustified incarceration, lack of proper food and lack of trained prison staff. Due to overcrowding, some inmates sleep in shifts and many have died because of suffocation during sleeping. More than 90% of the inmates are awaiting trial. The conditions of the prison are due to limited fund resources for the prisoners, but instead of international aid, many inmates still die from diseases that are preventable. Number 2. Tadmor Military Prison, Syria. Tadmor Military Prison was originally established to act as military shelter for the French Mandate forces, but it immediately achieved a reputation as a place for horrendous torture. Inmates were controlled by feudal means, including being pulled to death, whereas some other inmates were killed brutally with axes and cut into pieces. So much blood has been spilled in this wild prison that it is beyond imaginations. The prison was notorious for worse conditions, torture, extensive human rights abuse and summary executions. In this prison both criminals and political prisoners were imprisoned, and they were equally tortured. It was closed in 2001, but reopened after a decade with few improvements and more prisoners. Guards rule here fully and there is no television, books or radio for inmates, torture is regular entertainment and prisoners live under shadows of fear. Number 1. Gitarama Central Prison, Rwanda. This is the most dangerous prison in the world and is known as the hell on the earth, where horror is still alive. This is the earth's most infernal place and is also the world's most crowded prison. Gitarama Central Prison is underfunded, overcrowded, where prisoners are not beaten to death but they die because of disease or starvation. Struggle for survival rules in this prison and therefore some inmates kill and eat other inmate. That is extremely disgusting and unbelievable. It had a capacity for just 500 inmates but it is home to almost 6,000 inmates. That is terrible and prisoners are treated like animals. There are no cells, many inmates are strained to sleep on the open floors, under beds and in lobbies. The prison is so horrendously overcrowded that inmates often stand day and night on dirty floor that their feet begin to rot and in worse conditions they have to undergo brave amputation. Inmates in this worst and horrible prison also suffer from burst eardrums, trauma wounds, and bites caused by other inmates. Most of the inmates at this jail have been imprisoned due to massacre committed against Rwanda. What are your thoughts about our list? Please share it with us in our comments section below. Please hit the like button and don't forget to press the subscribe button to get future updates. Thanks.